funding from May 2009 till May 2010, and it was for a project related to how chronic stress affects amygdala neurons in the brain. One of the primary issues that we're interested in is how stress affects the brain, in particular parts of the brain that are involved in psychiatric disorders. The idea being that stress is known to be a precipitating factor for different psychiatric disorders, and if we can treat these effects of stress, we might be able to decrease the possibility that people will develop psychiatric disorders. So this research actually examines a potential model of depression, looking at the effects of stress on the amygdala. We know that the amygdala is important in psychiatric disorders and is an area that's hyperactive in depression, but it's unclear exactly how this area becomes hyperactive. So our studies looked at one potential mechanism by which this hyperactivity can occur, and whether or not we can pharmacologically target this hyperactivity and treat some symptoms of depression. One of the grants that I received as a consequence of the money from BRF was an R01 from NIMH. And it was an R01 to study a similar type of model, looking at different potential targets that we can treat for chronic stress. So being able to have the seed money really allows us to get a project off the ground and allows us to collect a good amount of data to allow this project to move forward. It helped me collect preliminary data for the NIH R01 application. Another way that became helpful is that it allowed me to start chasing an idea that we had that really wasn't going to be funded by any other mechanism with as little preliminary data as it was. There are very few sources of money, sources of funding out there for people that are doing depression research. It allows us to collect evidence for an idea that we have, and it allows us to push forward certain aspects of research that might otherwise not be funded. These are aspects that often have very little preliminary data, or sometimes projects that are relatively risky. So having a foundation that is able to decide exactly what types of research they want to fund and have a very broad spectrum has been incredibly useful for myself and other scientists around here.